things, and through the context of the script, try to get a good look. Joss comes around and gives us his points of view and tells us what he'd like to see, and we try and make it happen.
The thing about, I mean, I think the thing that's fun about it is, the thing that makes it so difficult, which is why, I respect these actors more than any I've ever known, because, they have to do everything, at the drop of a hat: comedy, horror, action. The same goes for every aspect of the show. We're constantly asking, Carey for a space that's small enough and for Ray to light it dark enough that it can be horror, and it's trapped and you're cramped. And then we want a giant kung fu fight in there too. So you have to sort of, we really, mixing the genres works visually and literally in terms of sets and costumes and all of that stuff. And since we're constantly ping-ponging back and forth, the whole point of the show is for you never to know which kind of scene you're in. It doesn't become that, hey, here's a comedy scene, put all the light in front, make it really bright. You have to be true to the reality of the thing while still, having it bright enough so that the jokes don't feel, they do land, yet dark enough that the horror lands, and the space and the light are very, very specific and very difficult to create, and the amount of time that these guys have to do it and the amount of money that they have to build things is not so large.
Well,
and
I didn't think you realized this.
And every week, I think the show looks beautiful. I think it has from the start, and I think these guys carry that on extraordinarily.
I love you, man.
It's
One of the great things I notice about Ray's lighting is you can always tell where the light is coming from and from what, whether it's sunshine coming in from windows, whether it's firelight, whatever it is, what time of day it is always very clear with the lighting. And that is easy to do if you're willing to let the actors suffer, half of them in half light. Right? So you can either light the heck out of the set, in which case all the actors are happy because we have a huge amount of light and we all look rested, we look great, or you can light it really interestingly and with the source light coming from a place that you can tell, but the actors don't look quite as good. And Ray balances that really well.
Well, we didn't exactly hire trolls. I realize you can all act, but there's also another reason you're TV stars.
And Ray also has to fight that there's a lot of girls on the show, and we like our little hairs like this. So he's got this much space to get light into. It's like, could you maybe push the hair? What? She's like,
that's the style.
I can't. My contouring. What?
The eyeshadow effect.
Yeah, you can't handcuff them. They need some room there to act, and they do a great job. And they're all pretty easy to light because they take it very well. And I'm pretty lucky when it comes to that.
Nice.
But I mean, seriously, you can see that we spend more time than other shows. I mean, the crew calls the show around town. It's called Buffy the Weekend Killer because we don't get. But because we're all straining towards something better, we know that we can if we just put a little extra effort into it. And it doesn't really play so much for the actors who don't have to be there the whole time, but the crew.
And also, exactly, yeah, speaking, if we can just, if you guys just applaud, because those guys...
12-hour day is the
5 days a week, 15-hour days. I mean, we have our time, but those guys make it happen.
There's like most TV shows, if you work a 12-hour day, that's the max. That's like, we worked a 12-hour day last month. It's a big deal. If we work or if the crew works less than 12 hours a day, that's a special thing on Buffy.
I know it's hard work, but it's fun because we all love what we do. We come there, we can just tell because Ray's so nice is because he wants to be there every day. And our writers like writing for us because we love speaking their words. And we work hard for you guys.
Well,
so
Ray
thank
really...
you for coming out here to begin with and for watching us.
You've assembled a group of people that really kind of care about each other, frankly. The crew.
Well, I mean,
we've been together like 6 years.
When we started talking, it seems like years ago, I was talking about how the musical started, and it just, everything, it came from that episode we were doing, which we were so excited when we were working on it, and it was so much fun to make, and it led to so much more, and it really does come from these people on both sides of me. Carey is working on Firefly, but he's also working on Buffy, and yeah, a lot of the people from Buffy and Angel went to Firefly because, they had been on the shows for a long time and they wanted to move on. And to be able to have that rather than just doing something completely different, just increasing the family and keeping it within the circle, because the circle really exists between what we get back from you, what we give to each other, what we get from Ray. Everything Alyson said, since I don't get lit, I think I can say this without being accused of looking for the light, is true. It's the energy that's on a set, a lot of it comes from the DP, and that's really, really important. And I think the energy on set is really good. I've been on the other kind of show, and it feeds us. It does. My love for these guys, makes me want to work harder for them, and that applies to every single crew member. And you can tell when we did the musical, you can tell when the dolly grip is really excited about a camera move because he understands it's part of the story. He's not punching a clock. He's telling a story. And I think every single person, the sound guy, every single person on the set has a chance to feel that, because the actors feel it, because the people who are, setting the tone, like Ray and Marty, feel it, because everybody in every department is going to be pushed as hard as they can to work as well as they can, and going to be appreciated for it, because if they didn't do it, I couldn't do it. None of us could, and the thing would collapse. So
You're trying
everybody
to save
loves
your ass with
everybody.
Wayne, aren't you? What? You really are. You were so specific. I remember that. Wayne is the dolly, is the dolly grip. He's fabulous. But you were making him clear the pole on the third beat of the second measure. I mean, that's. And he was grumbling, but at the same time, when he got it right, he would come on, I got it, mate, it's great.
Wayne grumble?
I mean, I feel none of us ever have to worry, because not only are we surrounded by a great crew and a truly great, DP, we just, we're told when we suck. We can do an awful take and Joss will come up and be like, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it that way.
He's like, let's try it this way. And he never tells us we're wrong, but I know that the take that's going to be printed is not going to be awful, because there's just a whole trust thing. With the body, we did about 25 takes of, is she dead? Is she dead? With Mom lying on the ground. And it was the last take, and every time it was just a little bit here and just a little bit there. And I was so freaked out because, that's so much pressure. But in the end, I mean, the take that was picked, it's all about trust. It's great.
I also, I'm being very facetious when I say we feel cheated on, because I don't think, by other shows, because I don't believe that Joss would never go do something else unless he felt like it was time in a way, and that the show had enough of a feeling of community and family and a sense of a staff of writers who have developed. I mean, we have incredible writers. Every person on our staff could run their own show, could write and run their own show. Well, yes, among others. I wasn't going to mention him. And I think that one thing I can say about you, among many things, and I feel like we're sort of falling into the aren't we incredible show, but it's really truly true that Joss would never leave to do another show unless he felt like Buffy would be as good as ever, and he will work as hard as he can to make sure that that is true. I mean, I have no doubt that we're going to be just fine, and that he's going to, give himself to everything as much, because somehow it seems like he's just got this scary alien ability to just do more. It makes him do more.
The thing about Joss is that he knows he knows where each character will be in 20 years. He's that specific. When we were doing the musical episode, we were trying to figure out all the color schemes and how everything was going to work, in the bronze with the dance and everything. And I forgot what I said, but I made a comment, and Joss was like, "Oh, honey, I will pick the color of your socks. That's how specific I will be." So he's a perfectionist, but it makes us work harder, and we're really damn proud of it.
Yeah.
For God's sake, somebody ask a question.
I know. You know what? It's the end.
That's a good question.
So it's not really a question, but it's well, I guess we could.
No, but we all have actually question booths outside. $5 a
Yes,
question.
That's right.
I'm on Lancashire. Allie's on Riverside.
That's right. Well, let me just ask you this though.
Find her.
Is there anything that you can tell us about next season? Is there just one thing that you can
Well,
say?
I did. Weren't you listening to the whole high school thing? I can tell you this, that
It's huge.
That's huge.
it's a large
If I had
thing.
said that, I'd be dead next season. He's gonna bring the high school back. Oh dear. Don't just forget I said that.
Ray, get the old lady filter.
Is,
Get the Channing.
is the Double Meat Palace coming back?
No.
Actually, interestingly enough, the Double Meat Palace is this, in the episode with the most sex and the most controversy we've ever had, the Double Meat Palace was the only thing we ever did that made advertisers pull out. They did not like us making fun of fast food. They felt that that was a terrible idea, and wouldn't it be nice if we stopped? So that's the most controversial thing we have ever ended up doing, was the Double Meat Palace.
Oh, that's so funny.
Sarah is very upset about not getting to wear the hat anymore, but that's a pain she's going to take. She's going to use that pain in her acting.
She loved that.
What I can say about next year is, the reopening of the high school is.
I think she said keels, not
No,
heels.
heels.
I know.
Skinwear.
Is where we're starting, and it represents a lot of what we're talking about in terms of getting back to the very first mission statement of the show. We've explored the very dark side of power, and although next year will contain much horror and anguish, as it always does, next year is really about the original statement of the show, which is the joy of female power, of having it, using it, sharing it. And Willow dies.
All right then, great. Well, thanks everyone for coming. I hope you had as
Thank
good
you.
time as I did.
Thank you very much, and thank you guys
Thank
for
you
coming
guys
out.
so
Thank you guys. You're awesome. Thank you.